When I first started building out online sales funnels for my digital product shop and working with clients to do the same for them, I thought that the best option for tech was going to be the all-in-one solutions. However, after many years of this and exploring all of the different options and actually using a lot of these, I've realized that it's way more important to have the right tools doing the right jobs rather than the ease or so-called ease of having it all in one place. Well, yes, at first it sounds nice to have everything in one dashboard for you. It's actually so much better, and your tech can run so smoothly in your online sales funnel if you choose the right tools that are doing different things for you, because then you can make sure that you have only the features that you need, performing at the levels that you need them to, and without any of the tech overwhelm, because I get it. I used to consider myself a not techie person, and over the years of doing this and learning how to do it on my own and working with so many different people and learning along the way, I'm pretty techie now. So in this video, I'm going to break down all of the different tech tools that I use to run my online sales funnels, from the ads, the traffic, the checkout, the delivery, all of it, so that you can see how it all fits together. So basically, this is your behind the scenes look at the software stack that I use to power my digital product shop and that I recommend for my clients as well. For some context, hey, I'm Jill Wise. If you're new here, I am a messaging strategist. I have worked in the online world for many, many years. I run my own digital product shop, and I've helped so many clients build and optimize theirs as well. In my last video, in case you missed it, I broke down what a sales funnel is, all of the different steps in it. I give you examples. This is an exclusive training that is actually from inside one of my programs. So if you missed that, you're going to want to check it out. But I thought that the next step that would make the most sense from here is explaining all the tech tools that actually fit into each stage of the funnel. So let's go back to the beginning, when I was just getting into this whole world of selling digital products. And I was looking at solutions to sell the products. So my very first products, they were sold on Squarespace, and all I did was connect PayPal, and Squarespace delivered it with an email. It was super simple, and if there was anything more than just like a single file that I was emailing, then I would host it like in my Google Drive and then email them the link to that folder. So it was really simple. But obviously, as I validated my early digital products, I needed something that was going to be more robust. So that's when I started to look at these all-in-one solutions. I actually used Thinkific for a while to sell my digital products, and many of my clients used either Thinkific or Kajabi. And we liked the idea of these because they had those built-in sales page builders, they had all of the different hosting, you could put your videos in there, all different kinds of digital products. It seemed like it made sense, especially when they started adding in either the email marketing integrations or Kajabi has their own email marketing built in. It seemed like it was going to be the easiest option. However, I ran into a few challenges with these platforms. I'm going to talk about my experience with Thinkific specifically, since that's what I was personally using, but a lot of these translate over to the other options as well. So both with Squarespace and Thinkific, and I'm pretty sure this is the same with Kajabi, I was not able to do location-based sales tax, which is really important for me as a Canadian, because after you hit a certain threshold in revenue per year, you need to start charging sales tax, but it is different based on the location. So you don't need to charge Americans, for example, with the type of business that I have, but I do need to charge sales tax for Canadians, and that amount varies depending on what province they actually live in. So as you can see, this can get kind of complicated. So it was very important to have this at the checkout so that it wouldn't mean that I have to eat the difference in the sales tax, because regardless of whether I'm charging it or not, I still need to remit that to the government. So that was one of the first challenges that I ran into with these all-in-one solutions. They just didn't have the full capabilities, all the features that I needed, because they were trying to do everything from the hosting, the sales, the marketing, all of it. They try to do all the things, so then they're not doing each individual thing well. So that's when I switched over to using ThriveCart. I looked at all the different options of tech tools that will calculate location-based sales tax, and ThriveCart was the best one because at the time it was a one-time purchase, which I loved the idea of not having a monthly fee, and I moved everything over for my checkouts first. And then thankfully ThriveCart created their Learn Plus platform, which I love. I eventually switched over all of my delivery to that platform as well, again because of the one-time fee, and also because the way that I host my digital products and group programs, I didn't need all of the extra features that were inside Thinkific. So this is where like these all-in-one platforms seem like they're going to be good, but I was charging me so much every month to be able to host all the students and sales in there, and I didn't even need to use all those features. So why was I using something like that when a more simple option that does what I need it to do, that is the one-time purchase, or at least was at the time, double check me on that, it worked just fine. So that's some context for you first. And now I'm going to give you the overview of all of the different tools that I'm currently using in my business. Let's start with the top of the funnel. So if you were talking about my social content or my paid ads, I am using Canva to create those. I also sometimes have ChatGPT help me with brainstorming, refining the ideas. I use it as like my partner to say like, here's an idea that I have. Can you come up with some more options on this line? I'm not going to get too much into these details, but basically when I'm coming up with new messaging for organic content or paid ads, I'm going to have ChatGPT open. I'm going to have my Word thesaurus open. I'm going to have my voice of customer research open, and I'm going between all of those documents and platforms to create something that's going to land. For editing my photos, I use Adobe Lightroom. I am never canceling that subscription. I've used it for years and I absolutely love it and have all my presets in there. It makes it super easy. And for editing videos, sometimes I'll use Adobe Brush, but often I can just get away with using like Canva, and that's fine too. So I think that's everything for the content and ads. Next is my website. So my landing pages in my sales funnel, they are all on Showit. Again, I love it. I've used it for years. I switched over from Squarespace after using it for a few years because Showit had all of the same kind of like drag and drop ease, but I just feel like it's such a more elevated feel to the final product. So I love Showit and I keep everything in there, and then I actually embed my checkouts into the landing pages on Showit, which is where ThriveCart comes in. So ThriveCart, I have two different kinds of checkouts that I use most often, and that is an embeddable one where I actually have the checkout design embedded into the landing page so that they don't have to click anywhere. That makes the most sense for tripwires, for funnel bumps, upsells, that kind of stuff. And then in my actual shop, I use a different kind of checkout, which is a separate like landing page for the checkout. So you would click over to purchase, and then it has the checkout that it like opens up separately for you. Then if there's going to be any upsell funnels, I actually do those in ThriveCart itself so that it can continue the purchase without like completing the purchase. My mic died and I don't know exactly when, so hopefully it wasn't too long that I was holding it up and it was actually doing nothing. So now we have a little bit of charge left and we can pick up where we were. So ThriveCart does the checkouts, it does my upsells, and then we get to payment processing. So payment processor, I love Stripe. I've been using it for years. I know people get really annoyed because there are payment processing fees. That's just how it works, but it's a cost of doing business. So we just have to factor that into everything, literally everything, when we are setting rates and doing budgeting, and just make sure that we know that this is going to be a thing. But Stripe is really great and it's pretty universal, and I've had very few issues with it over the years. Then we are getting on to the delivery of any products that people are purchasing from my shop. So this is kind of like a two-parter. First, there is Learn, which is part of ThriveCart, and that's where like the actual products are hosted. So the dashboard that you'll log into after you purchase, that's in Learn Plus. That's where the videos are, all of the resources, the links, like the whole thing is all in there. But when you purchase, you're going to get an email from ThriveCart giving you access, and then you're also going to get an email from ActiveCampaign, which is my email automation software, which I also love and have been using for years. And that's where you get like the actual experience delivered, if that makes sense. So what I mean by that is that ThriveCart is going to send you the receipt, your login information, like those kind of more technical delivery pieces. And then ActiveCampaign is going to send you the yay, you're in, here's what we're going to do kind of email. This extra email from ActiveCampaign isn't really necessary, but I think it is because I'm really big into customer experience and making it as easy as possible for people. So that's where it's going to summarize like all of your steps as soon as you get access. Obviously, now that my mic is working, there's construction sounds outside my house because we got a lot of stuff going on around here. So in order to do this, ThriveCart at the checkout has a behavior set that is going to add a tag in my ActiveCampaign that lets ActiveCampaign know somebody purchased, yay, and it gets them started in the delivery automation. So these automations are fairly standard, but it's usually a welcome email, kind of guiding them around, all the links they need, how to access, those kind of housekeeping items. And then from there, they might get one or two more emails, either supporting them in their journey with some extra information, some accountability check-ins, a request for feedback, all of those kind of things, all with the goal of trying to make it as easy as possible for people. So that is if they purchase. Now, if somebody goes through my lead tripwire funnel and they don't actually purchase the tripwire, they're still going to get put into ActiveCampaign because that's what I do for my lead collection. That's where all my forms are embedded from. So say you're on a landing page and it's not for a purchase, the form from ActiveCampaign ActiveCampaign would be embedded in that landing page so that I can collect those names and emails. And then from there, they get added into an automation that isn't a delivery sequence for like a paid product, but it would be a nurture sequence or sales sequence from a lead campaign. So someone's downloading a lead magnet, for example. Now, the reason why I like ActiveCampaign over these other all-in-one solutions for selling digital products and having all your email marketing in there is the data. Like the data in ActiveCampaign is next level. You can see so much, and that data of like user activity and their behavior is so important, and you can use it to set up different tags that help you segment your list so that you can get even more specific about the offers that you're presenting to your customers, to your leads. I could do so many videos around this specifically, but really the difference comes down to the data that you have, therefore the capabilities that you have in order to sell the things. So if a client were to come to me and ask if they should use an all-in-one solution like Kajabi or a ThriveCart and ActiveCampaign combo, I would always pick the combo, because even if they're starting small, we want to have that data going forward later. So even though ActiveCampaign seems like it's going to be a bit more of a learning curve right now, it's important for the growth later. So I think that's all of it. I know that if you are just starting out in this world, if you're just building your first sales funnel, building your first digital products, you can be totally overwhelmed and you're like, I don't know what I should pick. And then you're gonna go for the all-in-one option. I get it, I totally get it. But if you are in this for the long haul, if you have that long-term vision, if you're ready to design something intentional and solutions that actually like fit you, obviously, don't just take my word for it. Look into these though and choose something that has all of the different features that you need not only now, but will actually grow with you long term. I'll leave these tools linked in the description below. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. As always, I hope that this was helpful, and I'll see you soon.